Okay. Um, I know I look really chunky right now. Chunky monkey. But please excuse this music. I am at a fast food restaurant right now. But I was like, I need to go make a video because I haven't made one in a minute. And I was like, I didn't want to just make one just to make one. So I didn't have anything going on. So I was like, I wasn't gonna make one until today. Okay. So I go and I exercise on my bike. I was like, I needed some time to get away. For one, I needed some time to get away from where I was at, get away from distractions and everything else, and get out in nature. So that's what I decided to do. I didn't have to work today. It's the one Sunday I didn't have to work. Um, However, oh, I got a boogie in my nose. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, still kind of there. Okay. Uh, okay. Sorry, but that's how it is. Okay. It's getting worse. Look, it's getting worse. I know that's kind of gross. Whatever. It's real life. This is real life here. Okay. So there it goes. Okay. So, and I didn't put that on my food or anything because it's already done. So, whatever. When you're looking at this, I know people are like, "Yo, well, she just did this." Okay, I had to get it on my nose. Okay, whatever. So I had to get out in nature. I'm getting out there, and I was just zoning. I was like, I was only gonna do 5 miles on my bike, but I started getting more elevated. Then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should visit my friend. And she was supposed to be up anyway because we were supposed to exercise today, but she didn't. She didn't get up. So I was just like, you know what? She's like, I'll get up in an hour, and I know her hour is equal to 3 hours. So I was just like, I'm not gonna deal with it. I was just like, okay, and started just zoning out, and I kept riding my bike. So 5 miles turned into 26 miles. So that's what I got finished doing today. So I was like, after that, I was like a little bit hungry because I didn't eat a lot yesterday and all that other stuff. So, um, yeah, so I stopped by. Before I even do that, I was like, because I live all the way out like north from downtown. So it takes driving 26 driving miles to get here. So on the trails, it's a little bit over 26 miles um, when you're riding your bike. So I did a little bit. It's probably about 31, 32. So I get here, and I'm like, while I'm downtown, I might as well go and check on the voiceovers that I do and all that other stuff. So I go down there, and the lady who was at the front desk, she's usually in the back. She comes in and she's like, um, you need to go sit back. It's only these. This is only time for people who are volunteers and workers here, and blah blah this. And before I can even open my mouth, before I can say anything, so she's like going off on me, and I'm like, okay, well, ma'am, here's my badge, here's my, and she's like, I don't want to hear it, blah blah this. I don't want to hear it, blah blah this. You people this, you people that. So I just politely just sat my black ass down. Okay, I sat down and I just said, okay, let her have her runt, okay? Now, as I'm sitting there, she's getting, like, tearing me a new bun hole. And she is trying to, like, she's belittling me. Oh, you shouldn't be here, blah, blah, this. People like me always trying to get something. Just craziness, Hey. So I freaking before I'm about to walk out, before she kicks me out because she tells me to leave the premises, before I get to walk out, here comes the owner of the building. It was just like a Kodak moment. The guy is like, hey Bill, how are you, blah blah this, come on in. So then she's looking crazy. He's like, oh, have you met Belle? Have you met Sylvia? Oh, this is our friend. This is Belle. Belle does all the voiceovers here. Belle does this, blah 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 blah. Now she's looking real stupid. Oh, I said, oh yeah, we've met. So you know what? He asked me. Then afterwards, he asked me what. He asked me, what do you think about her? Because she's kind of new. People are giving this kind of feel. And I almost, was about to say, get her, go on, cut her on out. But I think that was the best lesson that she could have ever learned. Because now she knows that what she did was wrong, and she has time to think about it. So I didn't have to be bitter. I didn't have to be braggadocious. I'm this person and I'm this person. No. I let her fall. Give them enough rope so they can hang themselves. That's what you need to do. And I told him, like, she probably needs a little bit more training, but if you made this decision, then I'm sure it was a reason why you picked her. And I left it like that, because it is a reason why you picked her. You believe this, it's a reason why he asked me, because I'm sure he probably believed in my opinion. But overall, if he really thought about my opinion at the beginning, he would have put me in the conversation in the beginning, so I understand my leverage. But that brought me to what I am about to say. Ignorance is power. Ignorance is power, okay? And I'm not saying if that was very kind of me. Yeah. Not really. It's just not me. And I'm never gonna be that kind of person. If people are gonna be mean, let them be mean. If they're gonna be nice, let them be nice. If they're gonna be bubbly, let them be bubbly. That's just it. But yeah, what I was about to say, I almost got a brain fart. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so now ignorance really is power. Think about how people and I had to talk about this about one class that I had working when I was working at the shelter. I facilitated a class, and it was talking about empowering yourself with knowledge. And I was just like, I really don't like the word empower. You just stated reality. She probably would have, but that's not my job to do, but yeah, I started talking about it was talking about empowering. I forgot what it was. I just said it. But anyhow, so we're in the classroom, and the lady's like, I'm going to get out of here, and they're going to have all this Section 8 and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And the one girl was like, no, I'm not. And they were getting mad at her, and she was like, no, I'm not going to go into subsidized housing. And they were like, oh, now you act like you better than, you struggling just like us. You got to get your own place. She was like, yeah. And how she was like, I don't know, but it just sounds dumb. So we had this conversation, and I was so glad that she even said this, because I went through it myself. When I went through, first of all, I have relatives that are in Section 8. I have relatives that are in subsidized housing. I have friends, family members, all that. Nothing against that. You do what you have to do to make your life better. Okay? However, if you know that it's certain stuff you can hold out on, why not? Okay? And this is what this girl was saying. She was like, I don't have any kids. I didn't have any kids either. And when I tell you about my situation, like, because I lived in subsidized housing before, but I made a decision, like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to, make sure that I don't be in that situation if I don't have to. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you can do better, why not do better? And that's how this girl was saying. She was like, I didn't have any children. She didn't have, she was like, I can stay in a in a studio apartment, pay all of my utilities, have my utilities, which is the electric out here, and save up in order to get something bigger and better. So, and it was like, you could do that even when you're in these houses. And I was like, looking at them, I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't want to intrude on what they were doing, because that's part of their time too. But how she was saying it, they were jumping. You could tell they was literally jumping on her, and they weren't understanding what she was saying. And I understood totally, because I've been through it. I've gone through it, and I've overcome it. Okay. Why would I want to be if I don't have to be? If I don't have any kids? Now, if you have kids, that's a good walk-in. They have assistants here where pay a certain amount, and then when you get out, when you move out, you have a certain amount in your pocket to purchase a new home, but you're still in that same area. So why would you go and pay rent at a place that you don't want to be in, and you have to follow all these crazy rules and all this, if you can just hold out on certain things. The goal was, to let them know, like, either way it was good, but this is how the system works. This is how you know what I'm saying? This is how the system works. And they weren't really, like I said, they weren't really getting, they really wasn't getting it. But I started explaining a little bit about my situation, I was like, when I went falling, it was like the first thing that they wanted me to do is to, for one, because I was so stressed out, put me on medication. It was just like crazy. I don't even take medication for a headache when I have, my menstrual. I don't do that. I just don't. It's just crazy. Let it flow. It's supposed to happen when you have these contractions and you're having your blood flow is coming out. You're gonna have different reactions to it, so just let it be. People are trying to cover up stuff, and like, why? So I told them a little bit about my scenario and how the housing was available to me, but after close evaluation, I understood that even though my housing would be subsidized, it was certain things that I wouldn't be able to do while I'm there. Like, I couldn't have company more than 2 nights a month. They wanted to know, not only that, when I got a raise to start getting more money, to save more money, they would take more money out. So that was like another big no. What else? If I got another car, I would have to write it down. If I had some kind of hardship, it would be like, anytime I would progress, I would be still pushed back down. Now, if the good thing was that if you do, and they did say that if you do lose your job, you could still have your own place and blah blah this, blah blah that. Okay, that's true. But what if that house burns down, or what if that apartment complex burns down? Then what do you have now? So, yeah, it was empowering to something. I forgot what it was, but so it made me. It just started making me telling people, like, ignorance is really power. Like, when you think that you're getting something, and then one girl was talking about, well, I just don't work. I got 2 kids. I just don't work, and blah blah this, and that's like, how can you even do that? You should have been the one that's making the most money, because guess what? They're gonna subsidize your rent anyway. So you could have been finding out what your passion is and do it. And so, and they couldn't even understand that, like. And after I told them my story, and I started telling them how, now I have my own business. Now I can work for myself. Now I can, I can help others based off of what I did. It was very, very hard at the beginning. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, when I was homeless, it was rough. People were so mean to me because I dressed nice, because I dressed clean, okay? Because I dressed clean and because I talk right. People were like, she trying to get over blah blah this, blah blah that. They're really, really hateful. And then when they saw truly what happened, then they're like, oh, and still tried to make another excuse to pacify or justify what they did, how they treated me, But that didn't matter, because I understood that ignorance and is really, really power. Yeah, they're giving all these opportunities, and they're saying, yeah, we're gonna help you, get your own houses. We'll help you. But what's the stipulation behind it? What's the other ties behind it? It's a lot of people that get into contracts and agreements with people, and it seems like it is a good choice, because on the outside it look like they're giving you the end result, which you think is the end result that you wanted. But in the long term, sometimes that's not always the case. And that's how people get trapped into, like I said, bad agreements. Think about, and I tell them this too. Think about when you get in a relationship with someone and you're like, okay, he's financially stable, blah blah this. He talks a little sassy. I don't like the way he speaks to me, but he's kind of financially stable, and he gives me what I need, physically. He gives everything and he doesn't hit me, but I don't like the way he talks. Okay. So you bypass that whole thing. You bypass that whole situation just to freaking um oh crap. Yeah, you bypass that whole situation or what you didn't like about this person, and put other values on top of it, and then expect that this person eventually is going to turn and talk to you nice. No, they showed you what it was. So if you are ignorant of that fact, if you are ignorant of that, you're going to keep going on in the relationship, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And eventually, if they think they can get away with that, then you'll see more devaluation. Now, it might not go as far as putting your hands on somebody, but I'm sure they will definitely talk about you, dog you, cheat on you, say whatever they need to say, because you've clearly, through your ignorance, accepted accepted this agreement or this contract to be with someone. So yeah, people wise the heck on up. Okay. I had to learn that myself, even with the relationship that I was with, and because I was like, okay, well, maybe, he's nice to me. He was nice to her. He's talking all nice to her. And then later he started, saying bad stuff about his ex. And later he started, and I was like, well, maybe he's just angry then. No. This is how this person is, okay? Some people are just like that. And by my ignorance, I ended up going through that. Now, what I was determined to do is to not be ignorant, to be less ignorant, get more educated as much as possible about my situation, about how this process goes and the root cause of it. Because I didn't want to go through this again. Not only did I not want to go through it, I want to overcome it and conquer it, and help other people go through it. So sorry, I'm like pulling off my freaking nail because I got a hangnail. So that is how I ended up taking the steps, and it wasn't like and I told them that it's not an overnight process. That's why most people don't come to this level. Most people don't have their own businesses. Most people don't have control as to where they're going, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of course, determination, but it takes a made-up mind, a super made-up mind. Like, you have to be so determined. Like, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to do this because in the long term, I want this. And this is going to help me become the greatest me that I can be. So, yeah, definitely, people. Dang, it's almost like 20 minutes. Okay. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Look out. People who try to trick you, they play on your ignorance. And if they can't play on your ignorance, they play on your ignorance of time. Think about people who try to sell you stuff. And the person, you can get this, like, say for instance, they do the little infomercials. They always say, hurry up, tune in now, you have to do it. It's a deal. And they always rush you. They rush. They're playing on you, and people are like, well, it has to be, no one's going to leave in your mind. No one's going to, leave a good opportunity out there forever. Instead of saying, if this is for me, it will be here. If it's destined for me, it will be here today, tomorrow, and forever. Whether I choose it or not, it will be there. But no, we think counterproductive. Like, we're taught to believe, like, we have to run, we have to have this. Think about the people who are out at the Thanksgiving sales and everything. They stay out all night in the cold to go and get freaking TVs every single year. I don't understand why people gotta go and get freaking TVs every freaking year. You got one last year. Why are you still there the day after Thanksgiving running and knocking people over for a freaking piece of plastic? Like, when the next 2 months they're gonna have a new TV out. It's like, come on, people, let's think. Because I know you didn't break all of them, because you at and the people who be there faithfully, okay, 10 years, 12 years straight, okay, they don't care. They don't care, and they other kids will still be there, you know. But we're trained. We have to get the next. We have to hurry up and get something. If we don't hurry up and get it, it's not a deal. It's not a thing, which is not true. And that's how they play. That's how people in the system plays on your ignorance. Okay. Ignorance is power to people. It's power. If you don't know something and somebody else knows it, and it's something that's going to help you and not benefit them, oh yeah, they're going to use it. They're going to use it. So please be wise. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem, and I'm going to be out of here.